Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a super amazing book to talk to you about, and that is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ning. I don't know if I'm saying her last name properly. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible at name pronunciation. You guys probably know that if you've watched any of my book reviews. And I picked this up on a whim. Ben and I were on our way to get pedicures. Ben comes with me like 3 times a year, and truthfully, I don't like to talk. I don't like to socialize with pedicures. I find no greater joy than reading a book and getting a pedicure. It is so relaxing. I literally like melt into the chair and like just live my best life. It is magical. And we were halfway to the nail salon when I realized I didn't have a book. And Ben decided we weren't going to turn around and go back to our apartment to get a book. We were going to stop at the library. So I stumbled upon this. I vaguely remember hearing the title and hearing it was a good book. So I grabbed it, and it does not disappoint. Essentially, the book takes place in a town called Shaker Heights, which is basically like a suburban, sort of well-to-do, quite a bit of wealth type of town where kids don't want for anything and they just sort of live privileged lives. And it's focused on the Richardson family at first, and the main problem that you get confronted with in like the first 5 pages is one of their 3 children has lit their house on fire and then like gone missing. They don't know where she is. And the story then goes back to its beginning where, you know, sort of the catalyst and the series of events that led to that point occurred. And what really becomes interesting is that the Richardson family, they've got 3 children. Their mother is like a part-time journalist writing fluff pieces for the Shaker, you know, neighborhood newspaper. Their father is like creating quite a bit of money. I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer. I don't quite remember the detail of that. But they also own another property in the town that they have as a duplex. And basically this mother, single mother, and her teenage daughter show up and they start to rent the duplex. And the duo, Mia and Pearl. Mia is just sort of this like nomadic free spirit, and her and Pearl have moved to so many different places throughout Pearl's entire life. She's like never really had a place to call home for very long. They just constantly move because Mia is an artist and she basically goes where she feels drawn and produces different types of art to make money. And it's a very wildly different lifestyle compared to, you know, Elena Richardson, who is used to this very idyllic, quintessential American dream, American woman type of life where you get married and you have kids and you raise those kids and you provide for them and so on and so forth. So the conflict really comes in between Elena not accepting or believing that Mia could be happy the way she is. And she becomes transfixed on Mia because Mia is relatively secretive. She doesn't tell a lot about, you know, her backstory, her personal life. You don't even get Mia's backstory until the very end of the novel. And it's a doozy when you hear it. And, you know, the story just sort of weaves through all the points of view. You know, you hear from Mia at certain points, you hear from her daughter Pearl, you hear from the 3 Richardson children, you hear from Elena Richardson, you hear from her husband. But unlike with young adult literature, you don't have it broken into these concrete chapters that say like Mia, Pearl. It just sort of is narrated in a way where, you know, Mia might be having a conversation with another character and all of a sudden like the narrator winds us down like Mia's story and we hear more from Mia. Like, it's beautiful the way it's written and it's seamless. Like, I thought it was so interesting. I thought the story was so fascinating. I love the way the characters have gotten developed. It is a real page turner. It's not as intense as like Girl on the Train. That was an intense read for me. Like, I was just like, what is going to happen? My heart is racing. I need to know more. But I was compelled. Like, when I got about halfway, I did not want to put it down. I was so interested in it. So I really recommend it. I am fairly confident. I think I heard when watching the Golden Globes that Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington both produced and acted in either a series or a movie adaptation that they are putting on Hulu. I'm gonna be honest, I really dislike Hulu. I just don't like the idea of having to pay to watch commercials. It just really bothers me, but it's out there. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a thing that's coming soon if it isn't already out. So I would take a second, I would go to your library, I would read this book. It is just so interesting, the idea of how people can live their lives and be so bothered by how someone else lives their lives. And it also is so interesting how complex people are and the way their human experiences impact the way they live their life. Like, I just think it's really powerful, and I definitely recommend it. I actually picked up the first book she wrote recently from the library, which is called Everything I Never Told You. I think I'm just in like 2 chapters into it, and I'm already really invested. So I think she's a great author. Definitely recommend her. So that just about does it for me in this book review. If you guys have any recommendations for me based on hearing about this, or if you've read this book, I would love to know what you thought about it. But I will certainly, hopefully, talk to you in my next book review really soon. I am really hoping to stay on the reading train and try to find as much time for it as possible. But being a busy gal, it is so hard to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about this book, and I'll talk to you in my next video real soon.